Hello everybody, happy Monday afternoon. Welcome to this new content. I'm expanding to YouTube. I've heard your responses, you guys want videos, and I feel like this would be an easy way to sum up a lot of things rather than just typing it out, and just watching a video should do the job. So let's jump in. We're gonna have a significant storm system move into the state tomorrow, bring the potential for heavy snow, ice, heavy rains, and high winds. So all on the table tomorrow. It's gonna be a very significant storm system, no matter what impacts you see. A lot of the states are going to see significant impacts. So right now, this storm system is getting its act together across much of the central United States. With high pressure overhead in our region, we're not really seeing much in terms of the weather department here today, but that will be changing over the next 12 hours. As the system moves further to the east, we're going to see this rapid strengthening. So with this rapid strengthening, we're going to have a lot of warm southerly air come out of the Gulf of Mexico, and that is ultimately going to lead to a mostly rain event for our region, just because we're on that warm sector side. Again, portions of the upper Midwest could see very significant snowfall rates with the majority snow event here, but this is not our storm for in terms of snowfall, unfortunately. But we could still see some very hazardous travel conditions with the potential snow across portions of central PA tomorrow morning. And that is due because we're going to have a high pressure system across eastern Canada that's going to really supply in our threat for potential snow initially across portions of central and northern PA in the mid-morning to early afternoon hours across the state. And then as we play it forward into tomorrow afternoon and evening, you can see how we're going to see that brief dump of heavy snow. But as the warm air continues to surge northward, all areas will change over to a moderate to heavy rain before the system moves through, and then we'll see the cold air rush back in by Wednesday morning, turning a threat for additional snow and rain showers. So let's jump to the future radar for tomorrow. Let me change softwares real quick. Okay. So looking at the future radar, so today nothing going on. This is the model data from the HER from early this morning. So nothing today. Tonight that's going to really change by the early to mid overnight hours. So by Tuesday, this is what 4:30 a.m. Some light precipitation could begin to move into western PA, but with the dry air in place, probably most of this will not be reaching the ground just yet. The main system will begin to move into the western portions and southern portion of the state by 7 a.m. So you can see the blues and pinks, that the blues are the snow, the pinks are the sleet, rain, all that fun jazz mix. And darker the blue color, the heavier the snowfall rates. So as we progress forward, you can see some areas will get some really dark blues. That could indicate the potential for 1 inch or more in our snowfall rates. So even though this is not going to be a pretty significant snow system, since the amount of snow that we're getting is falling in a very short period of time, that is going to lead to a lot of hazardous travel conditions, especially through the mid-morning to late morning hours tomorrow across portions of northwestern and central PA. So moving forward with the time, by 9:30, much of northwest PA and central PA is in that snow. Again, darker blues indicate the potential for heavier snowfall rates. So morning commute tomorrow across these regions is going to be pretty hectic and treacherous. I suppose many schools will pull out 2-hour delays, if not just close the day, because we are going to see this accumulating very quickly, very fast. Moving forward an hour to around 10:30, again, snow continues across portions of northwest PA, especially across the higher elevations of northwest PA, but moderate to heavy snow continues by 10:30 for much of south central and even into portions of central and northern PA. By 11:30ish, again, moderate to heavy snow continues to fall across central and northern PA, but we do have that mixed line that is beginning to move slightly to the north. That will continue to move quickly to the north as the day progresses, as we see the system to our west strengthen. That's going to really increase the southerly flow, so that's going to really increase our warm air risk. And by 12:30ish, we're going to have that mixed line begin to quickly rise to our north, but we do still see that potential for wet snow, potentially heavy at times across portions of northern PA and central PA. By the mid to late afternoon hours, we're going to get a really drenching rain just fall across much of the state and that will continue into the afternoon and even into the evening hours. We're going to see the continuation of the moderate to heavy rain. Western PA, you're going to start seeing a break by the evening hours, but central and eastern PA, you're going to be really dealing with that heavy rain, moderate to heavy rain continue into the evening hours, and that will continue across eastern PA, beginning to shut off across portions of central PA by 8 o'clock. Eastern PA, you're still getting it, but most areas will begin to dry out by and after midnight on Wednesday. So very quick moving storm, but still bring a lot of impacts again in terms of heavy rains, very brief period of heavy snow and potential for some mixing, and also the threat for flooding, because not only going to see rain, but we're also seeing snow melt, and on top of that, we're going to see high wind gusts, potentially 50 to 60 plus mile per hour across portions of the state. So this is going to be a very significant storm. Let's play through the radar one more time. So again, if you're going to be traveling across, especially across central PA and portions of northwest PA tomorrow morning, do it slowly, but I suppose many schools will have 2-hour delays or just cancel the day for the whole day, because again, it's going to be coming down really quick, really fast. Road conditions will be very poor, I suppose, across much of central PA and portions of northwest PA. But we will see all that snow melt as we see the warm air surge northward, and much of the state will see rain by the evening hours before it begins to slowly taper off into the late evening into the early overnight hours. And then we'll see the snow showers return as we see the cold air return by Wednesday morning and bring additional light accumulations across western PA. So let's go back to weather bell. So again, as the system moves out, again, we're going to have that cold air flow return. So let's take a look at the tomorrow temperatures. Temperature-wise tomorrow, let's go back to the order run. Okay, so by tomorrow morning, as you can see, a lot of cold air is going to be locked in across portions of central and northern PA. That's because of the high pressure in eastern Canada providing some cold air, which is going to limit the warm air risk initially, which is going to again lead to that snow wintry mix threat. So as we progress through the morning hours, you can see how western PA and southeast PA warms up really quickly. Much of northern and central PA hang around the freezing mark, which is going to lead to again that threat for winter precipitation and heavy snow. But by the evening, and so this is by 7 o'clock tomorrow, many areas, pretty much everyone's back into the 40s. Portions of southeast PA into the 50s and even into the mid 50s, and overnight some areas could get near close to 60 across southeast PA. But as that low pressure moves through, we're going to have the cold front move back in, pushing back some seasonably cold air across western PA, and then by Wednesday morning everyone's back into the cold air, with temperatures dropping back to around freezing, if not a little bit colder. And we're going to see the threat for snow showers and snow squalls with the northwesterly flow coming off Lake Erie by Wednesday afternoon. So that is why we're going to not see an all snow event, just because we're going to have that warm southerly air just flood the region out and not see much in terms of the winter situation, at least for the majority of the storm. But still, hazardous impacts will be expected again across much of central and northern PA, just because the snow is going to be coming down in a very quick time frame. That's going to lead to significant travel impacts tomorrow morning, early afternoon hours across those regions. I'll have an updated snowfall map after I post this video to my social media platforms. I have not had a chance to update those yet. And precipitation and wind. So we'll just use the Euro model right now in terms of that, but yeah. So taking a look at the potential wind, I'll change over to the high-res NAM. We do have the potential for significant wind gusts. So as you can see, by tomorrow morning to mid-afternoon, this might be just a little bit overdone across some areas. Let's actually go to the HER. The NAM likes to do over the winds a little bit. Okay, so the HER again, you can see by early tomorrow morning, we're going to see wind gusts increase across western PA, 40 plus. Ridges could see a gusts already up to the 50s and maybe even low 60 range, especially across the top peaks. Could see 60 plus by tomorrow morning. By the afternoon and evening hours, the high winds will continue to spread across much of the state, with the best chance across northern PA and the highest elevations. And then moving into the evening hours, we'll see the continuation of those sporadic high wind gusts across those areas. And then we'll see the wind continue as we head into Wednesday as well. So it's going to be a pretty long duration wind event with, again, widespread gusts 40 plus, with areas of potentially 50 to 60 plus miles per hour gusts across northern PA and the higher elevations. And then Wednesday, we'll continue to see the gusts potentially 30 plus miles per hour across the state, especially across western PA, as we see the cold air rush back in. So Wednesday's going to be a pretty chilly day. And just taking a peek at the potential wind chills across the state by Wednesday morning, 20s across, again, much of western and central PA. So it's going to be a pretty short-lived warmth blast across portions of central and eastern PA before the cold air just rushes back in. In terms of precipitation, we're going to see a lot of it come down as well across much of central and eastern PA. We're going to see potentially 1+ inches of rain, especially across eastern PA. We're going to see 2 to 3 inches of rain. So while it's really a lot of rain, just the fact that, one, we've had a really wet December across these areas. Two, there's a pretty hefty snowpack of 4 to 10 inches across much of this area, and 2 to 3 inches of rain on top of that. That's going to lead to a really significant flood risk, especially across much of central and eastern PA. So if you live in a flood-prone zone, make sure you're prepared for that. Rivers and creeks will likely rise potentially above flood stage, and even in potential significant flood stages across these areas. Western PA, you'll still have a minimum flood threat, but not as high, just because the snowpack's lower and your ground is a little bit drier. But still, an inch of rain is expected across those areas. So before I wrap up, let's go to the alerts. So winter weather advisories across much of central PA, especially across the Laurels and into State College area. Winter weather advisory goes into effect early tomorrow morning through the early afternoon hours. These areas will have the best potential for a very hazardous morning commute tomorrow. I suspect many schools in this area will delay or close tomorrow, just because we're going to see 1 to 3+ inches of snowfall within 1 to 2 hours. So it's going to be very treacherous conditions across this area. If you're planning to travel, make sure you take that into precaution and just travel slowly, or just avoid roadways if you can tomorrow morning before we change terrain. That helps to clean up the roadways. In terms of flood conditions, flood watches have been posted for much of central and eastern PA. Again, mostly 2 to 3+ inches of rain is expected in these areas, especially across eastern PA. Again, already saturated soils from December, snowpack of 4 to 10 inches across this region, and again, the potential for 2 to 3+ inches of rain. That's going to lead to a high flood risk across these areas. Again, creeks, streams, if you live in a flood-prone area, make sure you're prepared. I'm sure you already know if you're in a flood-prone zone or not, especially those valleys. This can be a very significant risk. And in terms of wind alerts, again, high wind warnings are issued in these tannish colors. These areas have potential for 60+ mile per hour wind gusts, so that includes Indiana, Westmoreland, Fayette County is across western PA, and Erie County is in that high wind warning as well. And that'll continue mostly into Tuesday evening. And then we do have wind advisories in the lighter brown colors, so that is potentially for 40 to 50+ mile per hour gusts, and not 60+ miles per hour, but 45 to maybe 50+ miles per hour. And I expect maybe some areas will fill in over the next few hours potentially, but we'll see. But these areas probably have the best threat for the higher winds. And again, with saturated soils, we could see potentially trees falling down, and potential for scattered to maybe even widespread power outages in these areas. So overall, it's going to be a very significant storm system. So this is my first video trying this out. Let me know how you guys like this kind of format. If not, I can just switch back to mostly blog form. But I'll keep updates as always on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But anyway, thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll have an updated snowfall map, wind map, and rainfall forecast map throughout the afternoon hours today, and a lot more posts. And I'm already tracking the next potential storm that could bring impacts. Let's see here. Friday night into Monday. No, not Friday night into Monday. Friday night into Saturday. My bad. could take the same similar track as this Tuesday storm. Again, maybe a threat for wintry mix across central and northern PA, but another rainmaker and windmaker for the rest of us. So doesn't look to be much different system, but there are some key components that are different, but I'll probably post a scenario map sometime later this evening regarding that thread. But thank you for joining. Make sure to share, like this video, ask questions in the comments, and stay tuned for more updates on Facebook and the social media platforms. Thank you for joining this afternoon.